Hello and a very good day. First of all, welcome back to this channel. Today in this video, what we are going to do is we are going to install Python inside our system. What we did in previous video is we installed Tony. So whenever we use Tony, whenever you install Tony will install Python for you, not for the system, but Tony itself came with Python. That's why when you use Tony, you can write a script and you can actually run the script even if you didn't install Python within your system. So that's the best part of Tony, and that's why Tony is considered as a best IDE for those who are trying to learn Python. But there is other way of running Python script by not using Tony. We can use our own system, and let's see an example. Okay, so if we open Tony and then let's say I create a script, print this is a test, and then as you remember, we can run the script. Since this is a new file, so it will ask us to save the file, so I name it as test.python. Sorry, video. Okay, let's go for let's save it desktop. Save. Alright, so now we have this file test, and as you can see within the shell we have this is a test. This is working because Tony itself came with Python. It has Python pre-installed within its own IDE. But when we close this, and another way of running Python script is by using CMD or command prompt. For some of you, this might be a new experience using command prompt. So let's find desktop, cd desktop dir, and let's see we have this test.py type Python file. So whenever we run test.py, it will open up Tony, but we don't want that. Instead of writing this is a test within Tony, we want the system to write this is a test here in the CMD. That's the difference between these two versions. You can, if you use Tony, it will stay within Tony, but if you install Python within your system basically can run Python script. And here we didn't see anything because we don't have any Python. And you might asking, how should I know my system have Python installed? Just run Python, type Python, and if there is any Python installed, it will shows a different output, and we're going to see that later. But since there is no specific output here, that means we need Python, and Microsoft Store actually suggesting us to get Python for free here, and that's what we're going to do today. So how to install Python within your system? So go to web browser and search for Python, just plain Python, and we need to go to www.python.org. Welcome to python.org, and this is basically a website, the main website for Python. This is the home page of Python. Everything here, the latest news, upcoming events, everything is here. So we need to go to downloads, and here we have multiple kind of release. We have for Windows, we have for Mac OS, and other platforms such as Linux and Ubuntu. So since we are dealing with Windows, just go for download for Windows Python 3.8.5. and as usual, we need to make sure we save the file and wait for the file to finish installing. Okay, so I have just finished downloading Python installer, so I can go for the file downloads, and here I have Python 3.85. so this might be differs based on folders that you use to save the downloaded file. So what we need to do here is we just need to double click. We need to run this Python. So here, this is something that most people needs to give a little bit of attention. So we're going to install Python 3.8.5. so here there is an option install now. This is the express version. This is the most common. If you don't like to hassle, you don't want to change the file location or anything, just go for install now. And below here we have customized installation. For example, if I use customized installation, I can choose some optional features which Python gives, and then we have install launcher for all users. This one I recommend if you have multiple of users. Do you know what is multiple of users? Okay, I'll show you an example. Here, this account is with video, named video, and then I have another account named Fadlan Wasim. So basically in this computer I have two users. If let's say I tick this box, install launcher for all users, that means this Python will be installed in both accounts, this account and this account. So that's what it means by install launcher for all users. And it depends on you. If you are borrowing someone's laptop and you have your own account inside the laptop, so just untick the box so that other users will not be affected by the installation. So the installation will only stays in your account. And then we have add Python 3.8 to path. This is very important. This is remember that we did the CMD. When we type Python, nothing happened. One of the reasons because we don't have Python installed within our system. And at some point you guys might actually install Python, but when you type Python inside the CMD, still nothing happened. That is because you didn't add the path for Python. So this box must be ticked, just like that. Understood? Okay, so I will not go for install now because I want to install a different folder. So I go for customize installation, and I tick all this except for this one, and then I go for next. So here, instead of I don't want to install for all users, I want this installation sticks with this account, video account. I don't want this installation to affect and my another account inside this laptop. And here, tick associate files with Python, the next one, and add Python to environment variables. And then these three, it's up to you whether you want to tick, but it doesn't matter. So I want to customize my install location. What I do is I just copy this part, and let's say I want to save it inside here. No, let's say I want to install it here, data D and video. Okay, and I make it like that. Yep. So this is going to be the name of the file, and this is the sub file, the subfolder, sorry. So after we finish all this, just straight away with installation. So it's going to take a little bit of time to install, and yeah, just wait for a moment. We have just finished installed Python. As you can see, the setup was successful, and this means Python has already been installed in our system. And just straight away close the window. So now what we are going to do is we're going to check whether Python has already installed within our system. And how to check? We need to go to CMD. So just search for CMD, command prompt, and remember previously when we type Python and we press enter, nothing happened. Okay, we're going to try it again. If I type Python and I press enter, it's going to be different, totally different. Now we have Python 3.85, as you can see in the screen. This means now we are in Python environment. If you recall, if you ever did it in school, we have these three arrows inside inside a script, and here what it says is it's actually pointed out that the system has already installed Python, and what we can do is we can just go to exit like this and press enter. It will exit from Python environment. So when we go for Python, let's search for Python. As you can see, we have Python 3.8 application, and then we have IDLE. This is very important. IDLE is very important. When we click IDLE, it gives us something like this. The same like the CMD, right? Only, yeah, the color is different. We still have the three arrows, Python 3.85, the same thing. And here we can do Python print hello, press enter, and it will print hello for you. So this is very different with Tony, because this one is installed inside the computer. The computer itself can run Python script. Okay, and what we can do for this to make it obvious different between Python IDLE and the Tony, go to file and click a new file. So we are going to have an empty space. So here we can type anything. So let's do print this can be print in CMD, just like that. And then on top here you see untitled. This means this file has not been saved yet. So press Ctrl S, Ctrl S, or you can go to file and press save. So here what we need to do is we need to save the file. Remember what we did in Tony? We save whenever we run a new file, Tony asked us to save the file. Same goes with Python IDLE. We need to save the file first. Go to desktop and we do it as test CMD. You can use any name you like, it doesn't matter. Press save, and it's going to change, as you can see on top here. We're going to close this one and see we have test CMD here. Okay, so let's go to CMD. We're going to open again CMD, and then when we go to dir, we need to go to desktop since these files is in desktop. cd desktop dir. Now we have test CMD, the file that we just saved, and let's run this file, test cmd.py. So since .py file is actually affiliated with Tony, so just go for other options, Python, and press OK. Is it happening? Wait. See, test cmd.py, it prints out this can be print in cmd. It's the same thing like what we wrote inside test cmd.py. How about I do some mathematics? Let's say I put print. No, I don't want to go for mathematics yet. I print a number. I print 5. I want Python to print these two lines. The first line is this can be print in cmd, and the second line is print number 5. So as always, I need to Control S, save the file, and when I run the file again, testcmd.py, press enter, it will print just like what we wrote inside the IDLE, inside the Python script. So this is the difference between Tony and Python. Tony is an IDE, while Python native is a package that we installed within our system. And if we don't install Python, we cannot run it by using command prompt, because the system doesn't know how to read Python because they don't have Python installed. But unlike Tony actually have its own shell which came with Python. That's why when we press run, it can run here. Understood? So that's it for this video. As of a conclusion, you have two ways of using Python. You can install Python within your system, and you can use Tony to create Python script. Basically, it's the same thing but different approach. Okay, and yeah, we're going to go through some Python in the future, and I hope you guys could follow what I explained easily, and thank you very much. Okay, so that's all for our video today, and since we have finished setting up Python and Tony, therefore we will not go for any more IDE setup or installation. And as for the Python series, we are going to use either Tony or Python IDLE itself. So these two videos, the previous video and this video, is just for you guys to set up your IDE inside your system, and you can use anything. You can use Tony, or even if you want to use IDLE, it's up to you. And yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.